Welcome to your take-home notes for the night of Tuesday, August 26th. I hope you like what I've been doing in the afternoon here before you got the notes. Been working on these eyebrows very hard. Okay, so let's get right into what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about REM sleep and a little bit about sleep disorders. Okay, sorry about that. Anyway, REM sleep. During REM sleep, you have what is known as sleep paralysis. The reason for that is to really protect you, because that's where a lot of your dreaming is going to be occurring. Sorry, my new eyebrow is a little itchy. The amount of REM sleep increases as the night progresses. There's about 100 minutes total in a normal night's sleep. When someone is awakened in REM sleep, they almost always report dreaming. So even if you believe that you don't dream, you actually are dreaming in REM sleep, but you typically are not awakened during that time. If a person is deprived of sleep, they will experience what is known as REM rebound. REM rebound involves experiencing greatly increased REM sleep the next night. So in other words, you'll go into REM sleep quicker than you normally would if you have been deprived of that. REM sleep occurs more in infants under the age of 7. So they actually get more REM sleep, and it decreases somewhat as you get older. Next, on to sleep disorders. Children tend to have more nightmares, not of just people with orange facial hair like I have right now, but they tend to have more nightmares than adults because they are in REM longer. REM behavior disorder occurs when brain mechanisms that inhibit the voluntary muscles that we talked about in class yesterday, that inhibit the voluntary muscles fail, and the person acts out dreams during REM sleep. Okay, so that's actually a pretty major issue, because their sleep paralysis is not happening, and these really active dreams are going on, and these people are that creates a bit of a problem for them. REM behavior disorder occurs most in men over the age of 60. Children may experience what are known as night terrors when young, although it is very rare. Night terrors are states of panic experienced while asleep. Some have trouble breathing when a night terror occurs. The good thing about night terrors is few people can remember the night terrors they experienced. Okay, on to one of the more interesting things when it comes to sleep disorders, sleepwalking. Sleepwalking is also called somnambulism. That's SOMNAMBULISM. It occurs in stage 3 or 4. It can be as mild as actually just sitting up in bed, or it can involve eating or attempting to drive. In one interesting incident with my, well, he's 14 years old now, my 14-year-old, he actually tried to go, he thought he was going to the bathroom, and he was standing in front of the refrigerator. That was a pretty scary incident. On to the next page. Approximately 5% of the population has what is known as sleep apnea. Apnea is APNEA. This disorder involves occasionally stopping breathing while sleeping. Okay, I was trying daytime apnea. It didn't work. It is prevalent in obese people. Apnea sufferers don't recall episodes, but report fatigue the following day. Sleep apnea is usually shown in loud snoring. So even though it's not necessarily impacting these people where they understand or remember what happened, it does impact anybody who may be with them. All right, insomnia. Insomnia is a chronic problem involving getting enough sleep. It occurs in 3 basic patterns. Number 1, difficulty falling asleep initially. Number 2, difficulty in remaining asleep. And number 3, persistent early morning awakening. So not like me, who got up at 3:30 today. That was intentional. If it was insomnia, I would have woken up at 3:30 and then stressed about not being able to get back to sleep. Difficulty falling asleep is more common among young people, and trouble staying asleep affects older people more often. Insomnia sufferers typically overestimate how long it takes them to get to sleep and underestimate the amount of sleep they actually received. So whenever you hear somebody say, "Oh, I only got 2.5 hours sleep last night. I was up forever and couldn't get to sleep, and then I got up early," they probably actually got more than the 2.5 hours of sleep, but their tendency is to overestimate, not necessarily intentionally, but just because they feel that way. One other interesting thing is when you're really stressed about sleep, it makes it even more difficult to get to sleep. So when you have that moment where you say, "Oh, okay, I'm going to look at the clock. I've got 5 hours and 3 minutes to get to sleep. If I get to sleep right now, I can't get to sleep now. It's 5 hours and 2 minutes." Then you're going to be even more stressed about the sleep at that point. For people with narcolepsy, the problem is sudden attacks of major sleepiness. Narcolepsy attacks result in a person entering REM sleep and resulting cataplexy, C-A-T-A-P-L-E-X-Y, that's C-A-T-A-P-L-E-X-Y, and that's the loss of muscle tension. So essentially they will be fine one moment and asleep the next. All right, researchers believe narcolepsy may occur due to a lack of orexin, which is O-R-E-X-I-N, produced in the hypothalamus, which you're going to become very familiar with when we get into biological psych. Hypothalamus is H-Y-P-O-T-A-L-A-M-U-S, H-Y-P-O-T-H-A-L-A-M-U-S. I think I spelled it wrong the first time. Thank you for participating in our notes. I will be checking these right when you get to class tomorrow morning. Goodbye. I'm looking down, not at the actual camera. Goodbye.